Fala aí galera, what's up guys? I'm Austin and welcome to Portuguese 2.0. In today's video, we're talking about how to effectively learn Brazilian Portuguese in the upcoming year 2021. More specifically, how to set effective goals related to learning this language. All right, let's check it out.
Institute of Linguistics presents Portuguese 2.0 with Austin Wisdom.
So guys, as with anything, any language, any hobby, or any important thing in life that you want to have progress on, you need to have goals in order to effectively measure that progress and know when you're advancing or if your techniques are working and what you're doing is working. So we need to set goals. To set effective goals, we're going to use the SMART method. It needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time sensitive. These are the goals that we're setting, and this is not necessarily related to fluency, but more connected to your study routine. You know, how much are you going to study each week? How are you going to study? What's effective for you? What's not effective for you? And then of course, once we get into the bigger goals, where would you like to be with Portuguese in 6 months or at the end of 2021? So when we talk about a specific goal, we don't just want to say, I want to be fluent in Portuguese. One, because trying to determine where fluency is extremely complicated.
I want to know what that is. We've measured it. We don't know what it is. We don't know what's causing it.
And highly debatable. Ask anyone with a PhD that's much smarter than I am and much more qualified, and they're still going to have varying answers as to what fluency really is. So saying you just want to be fluent or speak Portuguese is not a specific goal. So your goal needs to be measurable. You need to be able to track progress and know if you're getting better or getting worse, if you're any closer to achieving that end goal and being where you want to be with Portuguese. Also, it has to be achievable, okay? Spoiler alert, you're never going to be able to speak the language perfectly. And when I say perfectly, I mean 100% like a native speaker, unless you just leave your hometown, your home country, move to Brazil and live here for the rest of your life. Maybe in 30 or 40 years, you'll only speak so much Portuguese that you'll have a perfect accent and you know all the slang and all the vocabulary, and no one will ever think that you're not Brazilian. That's possible. But is it really achievable? No. Realistically, no. And it shouldn't be, because especially if you're trying to learn multiple languages, it's not feasible to devote that much time to becoming natively fluent to where people will never ask if you're a foreigner. And that's okay. You know, I've spent a lot of time in Brazil. I'm in Brazil now, and people frequently compliment me on my accent, which is great. I appreciate that. I used to be a perfectionist, want to say everything correctly, but people still notice. They still say, you have a little bit of an accent. I can tell you're not from here, but your Portuguese is really good. And I've accepted that. That's great. You know, I'm never going to speak 100% perfectly, and that's okay. There's always going to be more vocabulary, specific situations, or if you're tired, you're fatigued, you're going to mispronounce something or change the conjugation, especially with Portuguese, the subjunctive form, the future subjunctive form, which we'll get into later this year. Trust me, guys, it's really tricky. It takes a lot of time, a lot of practice. So it's okay. So have an achievable goal that's good for you. You want to have a conversation in Portuguese. You want to understand a film with just Portuguese subtitles. You want to listen to Brazilian music, which is great. Those are more realistic, more achievable goals. The R in SMART goal is relevant. Connected to you, connected to what you want to do with life. For me, when I first started taking Portuguese classes, it wasn't relevant. I just thought I want to take another language, and Brazil seems pretty cool. Maybe one day I'll go on vacation. You know, it wasn't relevant, so I studied it, but that would have been the end of my journey with Portuguese until when I was teaching English at my university. I was able to meet a lot of people from Brazil, a super cool group of friends who treated me really well and welcomed me into the group, and I got to speak with them every day. I got to get to know them in Portuguese in their native language, which is obviously much different than just speaking in English. So it became relevant. I said, wow, these people are amazing. They're my friends. They're like family to me. I want to get to know them. So that really motivated me. It was relevant to my life. Find something that connects you to the language. If it's music or film, art. Brazil is so filled with beautiful art, amazing artists, musicians, also terrible music and terrible art like any country, but It's a place filled with amazing mystery, amazingly talented and friendly people who would love to meet you and have a conversation. And finally, our goals need to be time specific. So if you say you want to be able to have a conversation or watch a film in Portuguese with just the subtitles in Portuguese on, when do you want to do that? 1 month, 6 months, 1 year? And again, this depends on you, what you want. It's not realistic to say you're going to be fluent in 1 month from scratch. No. But could you be able to have a basic conversation in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? Definitely. And this really depends on your exposure to the language, which we mentioned in our last video. You have to increase your exposure to the language. So moving past our SMART goals, make sure that when you're creating goals for Brazilian Portuguese this year, that you're connecting it to a SMART goal. And now moving on from that. So the next step is to increase your exposure, which we spoke about in the previous video. This is extremely important. Again, when I just took the classes in Portuguese, I had a thick Spanish accent. I understood the grammar, but something we'll talk about again in a future video, this difference between formal textbook Brazilian Portuguese and informal spoken Portuguese. It's a huge gap. It's totally different in some cases. They'll understand what you're saying, but for you to really feel like a native speaker and sound like a native speaker, and for people to really converse with you, for you to be able to understand what they're saying, you really need to listen to native speakers and talk to them. That way you can start to understand this informal Portuguese. It's a beautiful difference. It's a whole other language in some cases, but it's a lot of fun. So if you don't have any Brazilian friends, look for them in your community. Look for a Facebook group or some kind of group online where you can say, hey, I'm trying to learn Portuguese or to learn more about Brazilian culture. You know, would anyone want to meet up and talk to me, or do we have a group? That's the best way to make a group, because then no one feels uncomfortable, no one's feeling weirded out. So just say, hey, can we do a language exchange group? You know, you could help. If they want help with English, they could help you with Portuguese, and that's it. Make some Brazilian friends, guys. A lot of Brazilians that I speak to, they feel like Americans are very cold. Our culture's different, and that's okay. But they don't really expect Americans to want to be friends with them. So just the simple act of you saying, hey, I would love to learn Portuguese. Could you teach me? You're gonna be able to open some doors and make some really good friendships with amazing people. The other important part about increasing your exposure to the language is related to what you like to do, like TV, movies, music, which for me was huge. I love music, and in Brazil, it's so diverse, lots of different styles. So really just dig in, make Brazilian Portuguese a part of your daily routine, a part of your world. Just surround yourself. Change your phone to Brazilian Portuguese. That's a great way to see it every day. So the more time each day you're spending hearing and speaking or seeing Brazilian Portuguese, the better. So guys, Happy New Year. Please tell me in the comments, what are your SMART goals? What do you want to do with Brazilian Portuguese? What would you like to learn? And please tell me how I can keep helping you. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with anyone who's interested. Have an amazing day, guys. Até logo. Abraços.